Fellow South Africans, it is not by coincidence that I address you today on June 16, 2024, on the 48th commemoration of the June 16 massacre, when young children stood up to the enemy and said, "Enough is enough." Today, we say the same. You will also remember that I last addressed the nation exactly 6 months ago, on 16 December 2023, in Soweto, where I gave 7 reasons why I had come to the difficult decision that I would campaign and vote for Mkhonto we Sizwe and not for the sellout ANC of Ramaphosa. I called for the unity of the left and all progressive forces. On 16 December 2023, I said, open quote, "I call on all South Africans to join me in taking this important step and vote for MK Party and any other progressive parties which seek total liberation and the return of our land to its rightful owners, the African people." The task ahead requires young and old leaders alike to pull in the same direction. No single organization can pull us all out of this present crisis. We require the same spirit which saw us defeat the monster of apartheid. I later indeed campaigned on the ticket of asking patriotic and freedom-loving South Africans to follow my lead and vote for Mkhonto we Sizwe and other progressive parties in the 2024 elections. Before anything else, let me take this opportunity to thank all of the more than 4 million South Africans who voted for Mkhonto we Sizwe and all progressive forces who are fighting for the return of our land. Siyabonga, re a leboga. He can say, baie dankie. As we speak, the newly formed Progressive Caucus of Parties commands close to 30% of the seats in the National Assembly. We strongly believe that if it was not for the massive electoral fraud and other irregularities committed while the IEC was watching, that number would be far higher and perhaps in the majority. But even after the daylight robbery to achieve almost 30% in the National Assembly puts us in a very strong position to fight on for the total economic liberation of Black and African people. It has never happened in a democratic South Africa that there is a united opposition commanding more than 100 seats in the National Assembly. In a situation where there is no single party with more than 40% of the vote, we must applaud the people of South Africa for making history. Because of you people of South Africa, this country will never be the same. True freedom is around the corner. The return of the land has been delayed by those who robbed us of our votes and are now working with those who took our land using violence. It is also the first time that a progressive formation such as Mkhonto we Sizwe, alongside its progressive caucus partners, will be the official opposition. On December 16, 2023, I stated that we had started an initiative with several progressive parties aimed at creating a united patriotic front. For various reasons, that project was delayed until after the elections. I am therefore glad to announce not that only will Umkhonto we Sizwe form part of the Progressive Caucus, but we will soon also be announcing the formation and a program of that patriotic front of progressive forces who are both inside and outside of Parliament. While the Progressive Caucus must carry out the struggle inside Parliament, the Patriotic Front must also do so outside of Parliament, and amongst other progressive organs of civil society who subscribe to the return of the land and the dignity of the African people. Our message to the heroes of June 16 is: the centuries-old struggle for the return of our land will take a new shape starting today, 16 June 2024. This united effort is necessary because the 2024 election has also resulted in the consolidation of right-wing and reactionary forces who are opposed to economic freedom, racial economic transformation, racial equality, and land repossession, led by the ANC of Ramaphosa and the Democratic Alliance, which is the replacement of the racist National Party of Hendrik Verwoerd, B.J. Vorster, P.W. Botha, and F.W. de Klerk. Their regimes could not have lasted even one day without black collaborators, such as Ramaphosa. Today, all of those sellout forces have been replaced by the ANC of Ramaphosa, which has taken us back to 1948. Fortunately, millions and millions of our people have realized that the road to freedom starts with the removal of the ANC of Ramaphosa. They did so either by voting for the progressive parties or by refusing to vote at all. All we need to do is to convince the last 6 million people who have not yet realized that voting for the ANC of Ramaphosa is to invite racism, inequality, hunger, landlessness, and poverty back into the lives of Africans. For the record, Umkhonto we Sizwe is of the strong view that the 2024 elections were rigged and that the results announced by the IEC are not a true reflection of the will of the people. Before and after results, we have presented concrete evidence to the IEC showing widespread irregularities in the voting process and the voting system. It has all fallen on deaf ears. We've also tried all peaceful means to address our grievances, but all in vain. We have even approached the highest court in the land, but it rejected our pleas without even giving us a hearing and relying on technicalities while the democracy itself is being destroyed. As another form of peaceful protest, we have also voiced our dissatisfaction by boycotting the first sitting of the National Assembly last Friday. All these are constitutionally allowed methods of peaceful protest. We shall not tire from using peaceful means because we do not believe in resolving problems through violence despite the fake narrative of our enemies. We call on all our supporters to be patient, even in the face of the most serious provocation by the institutions of democracy, which are supposed to be independent and unbiased. The most frustrating treatment was when 26 political parties lodged almost 600 objections, which were publicly addressed in the evening of Saturday, the 1st of June 2024, at the IEC Results Center. Literally within minutes of making our cries for fairness and asking the IEC to delay the declaration of the results until our objections were addressed, the chairperson of the IEC told the media and the country that the IEC was going ahead to announce the results as planned and as if nothing had happened. This was despite the fact that the law allowed the IEC another 4 days to attend to our issues. It is therefore our strong view that the premature declaration of the results was totally illegal. The only reason given by the IEC for rushing was to please the markets. It is the people who voted and not the markets. The constitutional mandate of the IEC is to serve the voting public and not the markets. We took this issue to the Constitutional Court for its attention, but to add insult to injury, the Constitutional Court missed the whole point and failed to address the key issue of illegal declaration of results. Instead, the Constitutional Court concerned itself with the evidence of irregularities. But that was not the issue we brought to them. That issue belongs to the Electoral Court. It is irrelevant whether our objections were valid or invalid. The issue is that the IEC was not entitled to brush us aside and to proceed without rushing the declaration of those results before looking into the allegations made on behalf of millions of South Africans, the voters. The court failed to address this matter. We also complained that the boycott would result in a National Assembly not reaching the minimum number of 350 members, as referred to in the Constitution. That issue was also not addressed. Surprisingly, the Constitutional Court said the matter was not urgent and the court did not have jurisdiction. That means we should have gone to another court, even though the first sitting of Parliament was only a few days away. It simply does not make sense at all to deal with such serious issues by resorting to pure technicalities. That is the same court which was prepared to give urgent and direct access to Judge Zondo to bypass the criminal courts and to sentence me to go to prison without a trial. Now the same court is not prepared to give direct access to test whether the IEC acted wrongly in rushing the declaration of those election results and possibly having an illegal government for the next 5 years. That can never be called justice. Justice for Zuma should be the same justice as justice for all. Party with more than 40% of the vote, we must applaud the people of South Africa for making history. Because of you people of South Africa, this country will never be the same. True freedom is around the corner. The return of the land has been delayed by those who robbed us of our votes and are now working with those who took our land using violence. It is also the first time that a progressive formation such as Umkhonto we Sizwe, alongside its progressive caucus partners, will be the official opposition. On December 16, 2023, I stated that we had started an initiative with several progressive parties aimed at creating a united patriotic front. For various reasons, that project was delayed until after the elections. I am therefore glad to announce not that only will Umkhonto weSizwe form part of the Progressive Caucus, but we will soon also be announcing the formation and a program of that patriotic front of progressive forces who are both inside and outside of Parliament. While the Progressive Caucus must carry